Okay, let's dive in. Something happened this past Easter that, well, it really stuck with me. I was walking, saw a homeless man at an intersection holding this handwritten cardboard sign.
Oh, yeah. What did it say?
It said, "If you love Jesus, don't be such a Jew to me. Happy Easter."
Wow. Okay, that's a lot to take in. Pretty jarring.
Jarring is the word. And look, my first reaction, I think, like most people's would be, was just, offense at that stereotype, using Jew to mean stingy.
Right. It's just fundamentally wrong. It's based on this really harmful, centuries-old prejudice. We have to be absolutely clear about that up front.
Absolutely. Unequivocally wrong. And it ignores the fact that, Jesus himself was Jewish.
Exactly. And his first followers, the whole foundation of Christianity is rooted in Judaism.
Mhm.
Paul even says in Romans, the gospel is to the Jew first and also to the Greek. It's foundational.
Right. So that part is just bad. But, after the initial shock, I kept thinking about it. And beneath that really problematic language, there was this other layer.
What do you mean?
It felt like, in his own kind of messed up way, he was holding up a mirror, pointing out a potential disconnect, maybe, between saying you have faith, saying you love Jesus, and, well, actually acting on it, especially with generosity.
Ah, I see. So moving past the unacceptable slur to let's say, the implied challenge within it.
Yeah, exactly. That's the tension I think we should explore in this deep dive. What does it actually look like to live out your faith tangibly using this encounter as a sort of starting point?
It's fascinating, isn't it, how something so flawed can still provoke such a core question.
Hmm.
Does what we do match up with what we say we believe?
Right. His sign, however clumsy, basically asked people, if you love Jesus, are you showing it? Are you being generous or not? Especially towards someone right there in need.
It's a stark challenge.
Hmm.
And it makes you think about the scriptural basis for this stuff. You mentioned generosity.
Well, our source material points straight to the early church, in Acts chapter 2. Not description. It's pretty radical.
Oh, yeah. All the believers were together and had all things in common.
And they would sell their property and possessions and share them with all to the extent that anyone had need. That's a huge contrast to, well, hoarding resources.
It really is. It shows a community where caring for each other wasn't just a nice idea. It was, like, fundamental to their identity as followers of Jesus. It was baked in.
A world away from the feeling behind that sign, isn't it? And it makes me think of Jesus' own words, too. Pretty direct challenges.
Like which ones?
Well, Luke 6.46 always hits me. Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and do not do what I say?
Yeah, that cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? What good is calling him Lord if your life doesn't actually reflect his teachings? The sign, in its own rough way, is kind of echoing that same question.
Is it just lip service? Or is it real? Does it change how you interact with people, especially those who are struggling?
And the timing. You said this was over Easter.
Yeah, right around Easter Sunday.
That has another whole dimension. Easter is supposed to be about the ultimate act of giving, of sacrifice. Right?
Yeah, totally. The death and resurrection, it's presented as this incredible selfless gift. And then you see this plea, even with its terrible phrasing, asking for just a little bit of that spirit. It's quite a contrast.
It really throws into sharp relief the potential gap between commemorating this huge sacrifice and maybe overlooking the needs right in front of us during that same season. It makes you wonder if we've fully grasped the implications.
And our source mentions something else relevant here, the 40 days after Easter Sunday, Eastertide.
Right, the period leading up to the Ascension. What about it?
Well, Acts chapter 1 talks about Jesus appearing during that time, offering many convincing proofs, and teaching about the kingdom of God.
So it wasn't just event over, back to normal.
Exactly. The source frames it as this continued period of Jesus showing what the resurrection means for how we live. It's presented as an ongoing challenge, not just a one-day celebration.
That makes sense. The resurrection wasn't just proof of divinity. It was meant to launch a whole new way of being, a new kind of life for his followers. Those 40 days were about embedding that.
So the challenge of generosity, of living out the faith, isn't just an Easter Sunday thing. It's an everyday, Eastertide and beyond kind of thing.
Which brings us to the practical side. How do we actually do that?
Well, one idea the source brings up is generous listening, which sounds interesting.
Generous listening. What does that entail?
It's described as really tuning in to God, to other people, to maybe the Spirit's promptings, but doing it without jumping to judgment. Listening deeply first.
Okay, I like that. Because often we think generosity is just about, writing a check or giving stuff.
Right. But this suggests that true generosity starts before that. It starts with really hearing someone, understanding their situation, their need, with empathy.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
You connect first, then you figure out the best way to help. It's not just transactional.
And it connects to the next point, giving beyond the wallet.
So not just money.
Exactly. Giving your time, your presence,
No.
offering encouragement, especially the source notes for people who are lonely or discouraged or just feel invisible.
That's huge. Because sometimes what people need most isn't cash. It's knowing someone actually sees them, cares enough to spend time with them.
Yeah. It suggests asking yourself each day, who can I bless today? Not just financially, but with a kind word or just by being there.
It broadens the whole concept of generosity, doesn't it? Makes it more relational, more about human connection.
Definitely. And then there's the idea of living the gospel through actions, basically letting your everyday behavior, your integrity, your patience, how you treat people.
Let that be the main message.
Yeah, letting those actions speak louder than maybe, say, just posting about your faith online or something. It's about demonstrating the reality of the resurrection in how you actually live day to day.
That feels crucial. In a world that's often skeptical, seeing someone consistently live with kindness and integrity, well, that's powerful. It makes the message credible. It shows transformation.
And the source ties us back beautifully to Jesus himself, especially during those 40 days after the resurrection. It says he showed up,
Yeah.
He didn't just appear in a blaze of glory and leave. He walked with the doubting disciples on the road. He showed Thomas his scars.
He ate with them. He restored Peter after his denial.
Exactly. He met people where they were, with their fears and failures. And the source presents this as the model. We're called to show up for others in the same way. Be present. Offer grace. Help restore.
That's a really compelling picture, not staying distant, but actively engaging with people's messy realities, just like he did, living out that resurrection life with others.
So, wrapping it all back to that sign, that really uncomfortable, problematic sign.
Yeah.
The core challenge it sparked beneath the awful stereotype is really about bridging that gap, isn't it? The gap between saying, I love Jesus, and showing it through real, tangible sacrifice and service and generosity.
Precisely. It's a wake-up call, however flawed its delivery. Faith isn't passive. It demands action. It means listening generously, giving our time and resources, letting our actions reflect our core beliefs.
It means loving Jesus shouldn't look like stinginess or judging or leaning on harmful stereotypes. It should look like Jesus, showing up, giving generously.
And that leads to a final thought. Maybe we talk about Easter Sunday, but what about day 2, day 10, day 40, and beyond?
What about them?
Well, how does the reality of the resurrection show up in your life, on a random Tuesday? Are your everyday actions, your interactions, your generosity, or lack thereof telling a story that aligns with the hope of Easter? Or is it just a story reserved for one day a year?
That's a powerful question to sit with. Do our lives, day in and day out, actually bear witness to the resurrection we claim to believe in? Food for thought.